Despite Queensland's international image as a tourism mecca, Brisbane ain't really pulling in the dollars. If you want to experience Queensland, you go to the Gold Coast or the Sunshine Coast or just head towards the pointy bit at the top. So when you have a visitor from overseas, or even interstate, you take them here, to South Bank. Over the years, South Bank has been home to an extreme floodplain, a short-lived roller coaster park, a butterfly house where insects and butterflies were startled by school children on a daily basis, and the Whitlams even played a concert here on a floating stage. It was the first time I'd seen the Whitlams live, and Tim Freeman asked the crowd if they'd only turned up because the concert was free. I think he picked this up because only 4 people called back more sauce during I Make Hamburgers. In my defence, Tim, this was my first Whitlams concert. I was unaware of what was required of me as a member of your audience. Ironically, the following year I was to attend university not 500 metres from where I watched the Whitlams perform, and when Edward Gough Whitlam, the great Prime Minister that they named themselves after, decreed that all should get a free university education, he obviously didn't take into account this place. The Queensland College of Art! Edit that out later. This is where I went to film school. Alright, I didn't actually graduate, but it's here that I learnt the downs and downs of the film industry. In fact, I directed my very first short film right here at the South Bank Parklands. It was 2 minutes long, silent, black and white, cost $1,600 and was mostly out of focus. However, I got some great shots. Okay, a great shot. Can you just play that again? Nice. I should point out that my cameraman did all the work. As a director, I was pretty useless. But it was while filming The Collectors, right here on Kodak Beach, that my all-time greatest South Bank anecdote came into being. But I'm not going to share that with you now. I'll save that for later. I will, however, tell you that while filming, I saw the biggest freaking feral cat I have ever seen. It was the size of a basset hound. I kid you not. The South Bank market seemed a lot more exciting when I was younger. These days, they're just full of leather goods, temporary tattoos, car stickers, fortune tellers, fudge samples, and the annoying guy who sells the monkey whistles. But if you can get through the crowds and make it past the souvenir shops, you'll find the most popular store at South Bank. The lolly shop has a floor space of 4 square metres, and 2.5 of this is taken up by lolly displays. Customers must make their purchases before either being crushed to death by children clad in wet beach towels or contracting type 2 diabetes from standing too close to the sherbet stand. At the back of the store you can buy almost every imaginable flavour of the Jelly Belly jelly beans, and by combining the flavours of root beer, cinnamon and bubblegum, you can recreate the taste of the water in Kodak Beach. You'll probably find that sort of thing on Kodak Beach too. Ugh. See, on most beaches, refuse and human waste gets washed out into the ocean, but when there's no tidal current, anything that's dumped into the water tends to stay there. Whether it be urine, feces, rubbish, poo, dead animals, turds, or even a corpse, it really is Brisbane's toilet. And I'm not talking about Ipswich, I'm still talking about Kodak Beach, or as it's known now, Streets Beach, although everyone will always know it as Kodak Beach. Sadly, Kodak have hit hard times lately. With the digital revolution, not many people want to buy film stock anymore. Plus, it was getting a little bit iffy advertising camera products in such close proximity to children. These days, all you have to do is take your camera out of your pocket, and security are taking you in for questioning. I'm getting nervous just showing this panning long shot of the beach. That's why I've pixeled out all the children's faces. Actually, I don't think that's far enough. I'll black them out. That still hints there's something there. Maybe I'll just move on. South Bank used to be the site of World Expo 88, which unless you were living in Brisbane in the late 80s will mean absolutely nothing to you. I was only 5 at the time, but I remember it well. The performers, the pavilions, the parades. It was an exciting time to be living in Brisbane. Then, once it was over, everything was packed up and shipped off. Stefan bought the Sky Needle, the monorail went to SeaWorld, and the giant Australia sign got dumped on the side of the Bruce Highway. The last piece of Expo not to be mysteriously vanished away is the Nepalese pagoda. Sure, the pagoda is impressive, but if we'd ripped it down, Nepal could have invaded us at any time with their Gurkhas and their regicidal princes, who incidentally don't exist anymore as Nepal became a republic on the 28th of May 2008. Something that the media didn't bother to tell us because Kylie Minogue was turning 40. The Nepali population of Brisbane may be small, but they're feisty, whereas the residents of Gondwana land weren't around to protest. Gondwana Rainforest Sanctuary was a man-made rainforest created out of the bird aviary at Expo. Like its namesake, Gondwana Land, the ancient supercontinent of the southern hemisphere, Gondwana Rainforest Sanctuary contained birds, insects, plants and small furry animals, but was devoid of any human life. Gondwana Land eventually broke up, whereas Gondwana Rainforest Sanctuary went broke. Gondwana Land went on to become such recognisable landmasses as Africa, South America, Antarctica and Australia, whereas Gondwana Rainforest Sanctuary became a series of mosquito-infested boardwalks. And it was under these boardwalks that I saw a feral cat, and when the RSPCA caught it, I kid you not, it was the size of a Labrador. From the boardwalk at South Bank, you can get a great view of the CBD. You can see it from here, 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 here. And yet for some reason it was decided that people needed to see this view from a slightly higher angle. This is the Wheel of Brisbane. Much like the now iconic London Eye, the Wheel of Brisbane sits beside the river in South Bank and goes round in circles, except that it's half the size, half as interesting, and costs
$15.
$15. That's half what the London Eye costs, which makes sense seeing as the ride lasts half as long, but is complained about twice as often. But if you do fork out the $15 to ride on the wheel, this is what you can see from the top. And this is what it looks like at the bottom. That trip cost $15. Who the fuck came up with... This is South Brisbane Station, and this is South Bank Station. South Brisbane Station and South Bank Station often get confused. That's because they both have the word South followed by a B word, and they're both near South Bank and South Brisbane. But this wasn't always the case. You see, South Bank Station used to be called Vulture Street Station, a name better known to the rest of Australia as the title of this Powderfinger album. Their rehearsal studios used to overlook this street, and an iconic wooden bench with the name of the station painted on it made a brief appearance in the film clip for their song My Happiness. Although when I double-checked this, I found it was actually Roma Street that was written on the bench, and in any case, My Happiness was on an earlier album. And I call myself a fan. Interesting fact, the third single released off Odyssey No. 5 was called Like a Dog, which tells of the band's encounter with the feral cat they saw at South Bank. I kid you not, Conksy said it was the size of a Rottweiler. Which brings me to the end of my film. A film which... Oh, wait, I haven't told the joke. My all-time greatest South Bank anecdote. And at the risk of never being able to share my all-time greatest South Bank anecdote with anyone ever again, I'll share it with you now. While making my first short film at South Bank, the lead actor was required to hide underwater on Kodak Beach while wearing a suit. Unfortunately, while he was underwater, his briefcase, which was doubling as the props department, disintegrated and the contents floated away. Among the socky props were some number cards from an earlier scene, and in a panic I called out that there was a number 2 floating past. He got out of Kodak Beach faster than the car parks fill up on River Fire Saturday. And that is my all-time greatest South Bank anecdote. There's something in the bushes. Just move. There's something that... Tell Cogsy he was wrong.